In this video, we're going to tell you how to get your full gun parts upgrades for all the weapons that need gun parts that you can get prior to entering the Oshima Coast. So there's two weapons that you only get in the Oshima Coast. They're both guns. There's one's a rifle, one's a pistol. But the other weapons, the Katana, dual Katana, Odachi, Kusiarigama, Yari spear, Hanakyo short bow, and Yumi longbow, those weapons you can get prior to completing the Oni and Kitsune quest lines. And they require 85 gun parts for their final upgrade. You can get those 85 gun parts, but you probably have to farm using a reset at the next checkpoint glitch or exploit. The kind of legitimate way that you get gun parts is that you do the Odachi Master's quest line, you get some gun parts, maybe 5 from that quest line, and then you get gun parts from the 23 bases that are remaining in those regions that are not in the Oshima Coast, which is only unlocked by completing the Oni and Kitsune quest line. So you can't go there before then. But if you complete the Odachi Master's quest line completely, you'll probably loot about 5 gun parts. And there'll be another 22 bases if you have not conquered them. And that's a big if. So if you've conquered any bases prior to going to the Odachi Master and completing his quest line, he requires you to complete 3 in the Tokachi Ridge region. That leaves 23 bases outside of the Oshima Coast. Each base will have base rewards. Once you conquer the base, the day after, probably Taro's going to show up. There's going to be a bunch of chests for you to loot. One of the chests, typically on the left, is going to have the rare items from all the regions that you have touched upon. And when I say touched upon, that means you have started the Oni quest line but maybe abandoned it. You've entered the Teshio Ridge region but maybe didn't do much there or anything there. You'll get Oni mass pieces, you'll get shinobi steel, and you'll get gun parts. And it seems maybe it's a random drop or maybe it's based on where the base is. But I have found that you only get 2 to 3 gun parts for each base. So best case scenario, you'd get 69 gun parts from the remaining bases, but most people won't do that. Most people probably conquered a good chunk of the bases prior to that, and they won't get any gun parts from those bases. You know, kind of, if you get a bad roll of the dice, then 23 times 2 is 46, plus the 5 that you looted off the pitched battle with the Odachi Master in the Odachi's Redemption, ending the Odachi Master's main quest line. So you're looking at about 50 to 70 gun parts. It takes 85 gun parts to totally upgrade the Katana, dual Katana, Odachi, Kusiarigama, Yari, Hanakyo, and Yumi. Those are all the weapons that have a top level perfected upgrade that includes gun parts, 15 to 10 gun parts each. So the Katana, dual Katana, Odachi take 15 gun parts, the Kusiarigama, the Yari spear, the Hanakyo shortbow, and the Yumi longbow take 10 gun parts each. That's a total of 75 gun parts. So you're probably going to be short some gun parts. You may be able to upgrade some of those things to the top level if you just go that route and you just try to conquer all the bases before you enter the Oshima Coast, which is not required. You can just go into the Oshima Coast. You just won't get all the gun parts you can prior to getting to the Oshima Coast, which has a lot of gun parts. Now, the exploit or glitch way to get gun parts is sensitive to what you've completed. So if you've not completed the Odachi Master's quest line and you haven't done his final quest, you haven't conquered the 3 bases in the Tokachi range and then gone back to him and then had that pitched battle and then got the silver trophy for defending his dojo, then it's possible for you to farm those from that pitched battle at the very end of that quest line and get as much as 5 gun parts each. And so how you farm that is using the restart at the next checkpoint. So you get to keep all the stuff you loot, besides ammo. At your restart at the next checkpoint, you'll just start accumulating gun parts. So the key is that you want to get to the end of these pitched battles. So the first half of the pitched battle, they won't drop any gun parts. The second half of the pitched battle, it seems like the leader drops 2 gun parts. One of the big brutes in the second half of the battle drops 2 gun parts, and I think one of the ladies drops 1 gun part. So when you get to like down to 2 people, then you want to restart at the next checkpoint. The key thing is, once you get to Odachi's Redemption and the pitched battle, you see the battle coming, you want to hit your menu and save. You want to do a manual save. Each time you restart at the next checkpoint, at the beginning of the battle, you want to do a manual save. Why is this? Because if you do not, you will not be able to farm anymore, right? If you get to the end of this battle and then you get to the cutscene, the automatic save will be after the cutscene. So you need to have a save as close to the battle, up to date with how much you've looted. So if you start at 0 gun parts and you loot 70 gun parts and then it gets to the cutscene, you can't loot any more gun parts than that. And if you go back to your most recent manual save, you'll have 0 gun parts, right? So you need to be doing manual saves each time, right? In a manual save slot, each time the pitch battle does, each time you get gun parts. Otherwise, you'll have to repeat that if you let the battle go too long. So it's not that you're worried that Atsu is going to die. You're worried that the pitched battle is going to be completed and then the quest will be completed, right? Because once the quest is completed, you can no longer farm gun parts until you get to the Odachi Coast, right? And you've completed the Kitsune and Oni quest lines. So that's a long time to wait to get more gun parts. Now, will you get, from that point on, you will get gun parts from the bases you conquer, but just only from the chest, and it's only going to be like 2 to 3 gun parts per base. And so the fewer bases you have conquered prior to the Odachi Master's quest line being completed, the more gun parts you're going to get. The more bases you've completed, the less gun parts you can get from completing bases, because there's just fewer bases to conquer, because you're only getting 2 to 3 gun parts per base. So my recommendation, get to 85 gun parts prior to allowing the Odachi Master's quest line to complete, because you're just going to get a trickle of gun parts from the bases. You may not want to conquer all the bases before you move the quest line forward too, but you probably would like to upgrade all the weapons and all the weapons that you've gotten. Those 7 weapons that take gun parts as their final upgrade. There are 2 guns and an armor set found in the Odachi Coast that take 125 gun parts to totally upgrade. But those are only available after you've entered the Odachi Coast and after you completed the Oni and Kitsune quest lines. So for those, I don't think you should farm gun parts for those, because there are going to be easier farms when you enter the Odachi Coast. But right now, when you are not really close to completing the Oni and Kitsune quest lines, or if you're doing a new game and you're not, you just would like to upgrade your gear early, but you don't want to necessarily advance the story. You want to explore and do all the stuff in these regions before you go on. You can fully upgrade those weapons that you get in the Yotei grasslands, the Tokachi Ridge, the Narano Wilds, the Tokachi Range, and the Ishikari Plain. Those 7 weapons, the 2 bows and the 5 melee weapons, you can fully upgrade those if you had the presence of mind to farm gun parts at that last battle in the Odachi's Redemption tale at the end of the Odachi Master's quest line. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush Ghost of Yotei. I think the other thing is that, because this battle is coming up, the better equipped you are, the better. So before you go back to the Odachi Master, make sure that you have gone to camp, you've eaten some food, you've updated all your consumables, all your ammo, and so you have full stocks of everything so that you can kill the enemies as fast as possible. So this farm took me about, 2 hours to go from 0 to 75. I think you can do it a lot faster depending on your difficulty, depending on your skill level, depending on your play style. But it's a lot of foes to get through, and so you have to get through the foes at the beginning of the battle for the back end foes, which have the gun parts, to spawn. So you can't loot at the beginning of the battle. You can loot, but you're not going to get gun parts. It's at the end of the battle, and then you have to be careful that the Odachi Master does not kill the last person, or you don't kill the last person before you restart at the next checkpoint, because that whole battle is wasted, and maybe several of the battles are wasted if you are not doing what I'm advising you to do, and doing a manual save prior to every replay of the battle. You want to put that manual save in, otherwise you can lose all your progress on farming the gun parts. Alright, good luck. Let me know your experiences in the comment. Hype, like, and share for the algorithm, and subscribe. We've also got lots of videos about how you can farm Oni Raider masks, and how you can farm and glitch tons of Shinobi steel. You can get tons of Shinobi steel in just a few minutes very easily in the Teshio Ridge. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the videos in the description. I'm sure you're going to find some that are going to help you get more unlimited coin, unlimited flowers, unlimited metal, all the fish you can use, all the plants you can use in the description. And we have a video explaining the costs of crafting and what you need to totally craft everything to the max level in the description.